Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever actually stopped to think about how animals engineer these absolutely jaw-dropping solutions just to survive from one day to the next? Today, we're diving into nature's fierce evolutionary arms race. Because out there, every single burst of speed, every leap, well, it's a calculated stroke in this relentless life-or-death battle between predator and prey.
But to really get this battle, we first have to understand the arena. We're talking 104 degrees Fahrenheit. During the dry season on the African savanna, daytime temps regularly soar right past this mark, and then they completely plummet below 59 degrees at night. It's intense. These extreme stakes create this desperate, high-pressure battle for resources, where literally every single drop of water and every blade of grass matters.
And that brings us to a pretty grim reality. Look at this. A staggering 25% of these animals perish simply because they can't find enough food or water. 1 in 4. And the other 75%, they're barely scraping by. As the savanna dries out and trees get stunted, the whole place turns into this ruthless environmental filter. Only the most adaptable make it through.
Now you might be thinking, okay, but what if you're at the top of the food chain? Well, survival is actually a statistical nightmare even for top predators. Take lions. Despite hunting in these incredibly coordinated packs, they only succeed about 25% of the time. Cheetahs fare a little bit better, hitting around the 50% mark. But it just goes to show, simply being huge, strong, or lightning fast, that absolutely does not guarantee you a meal.
So, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to systematically decode 5 distinct survival tactics used to outwit this harsh environment. Number 1, the ultimate survival arena. Number 2, agility over pure speed. Number 3, the endurance champion. 4, strength in the herd. And finally, number 5, mastering the desert heat.
All right, part 1, the ultimate survival arena, the high stakes of the ecosystem. So the savanna is this massive battlefield covering a full 20% of the Earth's surface. It's gorgeously biodiverse, sure, but beneath that beauty is a place where every single moment is a pulse-pounding struggle. It's an ecosystem that literally forces animals to engineer highly specific survival tactics just to stay alive.
Moving on to part 2, agility over pure speed, featuring the Thomson's gazelle. This first case study is super fascinating because it shows how brilliant maneuverability can actually flat-out defeat raw speed.
I mean, on paper, the cheetah looks totally unbeatable, right? It goes from 0 to 37 miles per hour in just 3 seconds, tops out near 70 miles per hour, and packs a deadly 500 psi bite force. Honestly, it's a machine. But the Thomson's gazelle has this totally unique superpower. It can make 90-degree turns without even slowing down. Even though it only hits about 50 miles per hour and weighs a super fragile 33 to 77 pounds, the gazelle uses its highly specialized muscles to completely neutralize the cheetah's explosive acceleration.
But wait, they don't just rely on taking sharp corners. When a predator shows up, a herd of 10 to 50 gazelles deploys what's known as the scatter tactic. It goes like this. Step 1, a sentinel senses danger. Step 2, they issue a visual warning signal called proning. And step 3, the whole herd just scatters in every direction. See, a cheetah can only chase a single target for a few seconds before it's completely wiped out. So this scattering effect totally shatters the cheetah's focus and just drains its precious, super limited energy reserves.
Let's actually zoom in on step 2 of that tactic, proning. Basically, proning is when the gazelle leaps 2 to 3 meters, so like up to 10 feet, straight into the air while running. It is a spectacular visual. Seriously, it's like nature's pogo stick. But this high-leaping, zigzagging behavior serves a dual purpose. First, it lets the gazelles spot danger from way above the tall grass, and second, it forces the cheetah to constantly and exhaustingly adjust its speed and direction. It's a total game changer. Okay, part 3, the endurance champion, the pronghorn. Shifting gears to the North American grasslands, we're going to see a totally different tactic. Here, we'll see exactly how incredible stamina can completely outlast short bursts of energy.
Look at these numbers. So while the cheetah sprints at 70 miles per hour but completely burns out in 20 to 30 seconds, and the gray wolf paces itself for long distances at 37 miles per hour, the pronghorn is just this wild statistical anomaly. It can hit 60 miles per hour, sure, but what's way more impressive is that it can sustain 40 miles per hour for up to 4 miles. It's this incredible marathoner that can literally leave a persistent predator, like the gray wolf, choking on its dust.
So how on earth does an animal weighing just 88 to 143 pounds pull this off? Well, it's all thanks to this incredible evolutionary arsenal. Their lungs and heart are literally twice the size of similar animals, which allows for this massive oxygen intake. They also have a 320-degree field of vision. That lets them spot predators from 4 miles away. And my favorite part, their long legs feature these elastic tendons that literally act like springs. Amazingly, researchers actually point out that the pronghorn evolved these traits to outrun ancient, now extinct predators like the North American cheetah. And you know what? They just kept the biological upgrades.
All right, part 4, strength in the herd, looking at the wildebeest. Here we're exploring a community tactic, where an animal relies on herd mentality and sheer numbers to overcome some pretty extreme physical vulnerability.
And wow, those numbers are truly staggering. 2 million wild beasts live on the savanna. Try to picture that massive herd as this gigantic living river migrating together just to survive. This massive scale perfectly illustrates the savanna's rich biodiversity, obviously, but it also really highlights a core strategy. There is profound, undeniable safety in numbers.
But you know, migrating means facing obstacles, and absolutely none is more terrifying than the Mara River crossing. This river is a lethal battleground. It is packed with massive, 18-foot-long, 1,500-pound Nile crocodiles, just waiting right beneath the surface. When the wildebeest herd plunges into this fast-flowing water, it turns into this chaotic, incredibly lethal test of the herd's resilience and their sheer determination to reach fresh pastures.
To survive constant, terrifying threats like that, the herd relies on some highly intricate defense mechanisms. Get this, newborn calves weighing a tiny 44 pounds literally learn to stand and run within minutes of being born. Minutes! And the adults, they intuitively form these protective physical barriers to shield the young from lions and hyenas. By prioritizing the safety of their absolute weakest members, the wildebeest proves that community unity, that interconnectedness, is a highly effective, incredibly sophisticated survival strategy. It's honestly awe-inspiring.
Which brings us to part 5, mastering the desert heat, featuring the oryx. We're shifting over to the harsh, arid lands of Africa and the Middle East to examine how one animal uses its own internal biology to completely master an extreme climate. I want you to imagine enduring desert temperatures that soar over 50 degrees Celsius, that is 122 degrees Fahrenheit. It creates this seemingly impossible environmental funnel. Water is practically non-existent and the sun is just relentless. That kind of pressure sets the stage for some truly mind-bending physiological tactics. And the oryx? It survives all this through a literal internal masterclass. First off, it can go for days without drinking any standing water. Instead, it just extracts moisture directly from the super scarce desert grasses and leaves it eats. Second, its digestion is highly optimized to squeeze out and retain every single drop of that water. And finally, its most brilliant adaptation, a totally unique blood circulation mechanism that literally cools its blood before it reaches the brain. This keeps the oryx completely alert and functioning under a scorching sun that would easily be lethal to almost anything else.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really wanted to share this perfect quote from our source material. It calls this whole thing a dramatic symphony on the savanna, where speed, strategy, and herd spirit combine to create a spectacular song of survival. I love that. It truly is a masterclass in how life engineers these jaw-dropping solutions to relentless, punishing challenges. Every single animal we looked at today took a totally different but equally brilliant path to victory.
Which leaves us with this final, kind of wild thought to ponder. What modern human adaptations mirror this relentless evolutionary arms race? From the gazelle's agility to the oryx's insane internal temperature control, nature proves over and over that survival isn't just about raw strength, it's about strategy. So how do our own technological and social strategies actually compare to these ultimate warriors? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this sparked your curiosity to look just a little closer at the brilliant engineering of the natural world.